All right, welcome to The Explainer. Look, today we're talking about picking a pen testing VM. But let's just skip the boring feature-by-feature breakdown of Kali, Parrot, and BlackArch, okay? Instead, we're going to focus on the one thing that actually matters, building a lab that doesn't make you want to pull your hair out.
And let's just kick things off with the hard truth, from someone who learned this the painful way. See, this isn't about picking a cool distro, it's really about signing a maintenance contract with yourself. The install? That's the easy part. The real pain is when things start breaking, day after day after day.
And that brings us to the core problem. I call it the cheap zipper problem. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's those little tiny issues you ignore in your lab. A weird update, a network glitch you just work around. They seem like nothing. But then, one day, usually right before a deadline, the whole thing just comes apart. A complete, catastrophic failure, all at once.
So let's just get one thing straight. We are not optimizing for the distro with the most tools. We're not picking the coolest logo. We are optimizing for one thing and one thing only: recovery time. The best lab, the only lab that matters, is the one that gets you back to work the fastest when, and I mean when, not if, something inevitably breaks.
Okay, so with that in mind, let's take a look at the big three, but through this new lens of recovery and, just general maintenance headaches.
All right, first up, of course, is Kali Linux. It's the default, right? It's what everyone knows. It's in all the training courses. But its popularity comes with a hidden catch. A little bite you just don't see coming.
So here's the deal with Kali. The pro, its biggest strength for sure, is that pretty much every tutorial out there is written for it. That saves you a ton of time translating commands. But the con? Oh, it's a big one. It kind of encourages this just install the whole shebang mindset. And what does that get you? A bloated, slow, unstable VM that is just begging to fall over.
Next up, we've got Parrot Security. And this one, it has a totally different vibe. It feels less like a chaotic science experiment and more like a smooth, focused workstation. It's really built around how you actually work.
Yeah, it's just calmer. There's less mental friction when you're trying to juggle a bunch of tools in your research. Now, the trade-off is that, yeah, you might have to occasionally translate a command or a file path from a Kali guide, but honestly, it's a pretty small price to pay for a much more stable daily driver kind of experience.
And then there's BlackArch. Man, this thing is the expert's power tool. It's not just a toolbox. It's a whole tool warehouse. But with all that power comes a serious demand for expertise and, maybe even more importantly, a ton of discipline.
I mean, the arsenal of tools is just incredible. If you're a specialist and you know exactly what you need, it's a dream. But for the rest of us, it's totally overwhelming. And because it's a rolling release, you have to be so disciplined with your updates, or it's going to break. It's that simple. It absolutely rewards operators, but it punishes tourists. Hard.
But you know what? Here's the real secret. The distro you pick, it's kind of secondary. The real lessons are about how you manage your whole virtual environment. This is where most people, and most labs, truly fall apart.
Look, a lot of us have done this. I'll admit it, I'm guilty too. We treat snapshots like a save point in a video game. We just keep creating them, building these long, complicated, super fragile chains that are, let's be honest, absolutely doomed to fail.
And this is exactly why that's such a bad idea. See, every snapshot depends on the one before it. The complexity just keeps building, and so does the risk of corruption. Then one day you go to revert to an older state and boom, the whole chain just collapses. And all that work, it's just gone.
So the pro approach requires a total mindset shift. Stop trying to repair broken things. Just stop. Instead, start replacing them from a single, clean, perfect template, a golden image.
Okay, so here's the workflow that's going to save your sanity. You build one pristine golden image, just the essentials, nothing more. Then, every time you start a new project, you just make a fresh clone of it. And if that clone breaks, who cares? You just delete it and clone a new one. Your recovery time literally drops from hours of troubleshooting down to like 2 minutes.
Speaking of troubleshooting, let me tell you a quick story about a night my own VM totally lied to my face. It made me question everything. My tools, my skills, even though everything was actually working perfectly.
132 minutes. That's how much time I wasted. Over 2 hours chasing a phantom bug. A bug that wasn't even real. All because of one stupid, simple setting in the VM itself.
Oh, I went through the whole routine. I blamed the distro, I blamed the tool, I was convinced my scanner was broken. I reran it with different flags, I rebooted everything, probably 3 or 4 times. But the real culprit? It was hiding in plain sight, right there in the VM's network settings.
What happened was, after resuming from sleep, the VM had silently switched its network adapter mode. I thought I was scanning my target network, but I was actually just scanning, well, nothing, the void. The tool was running perfectly, but it was perfectly scanning the wrong thing. And the fix, once I found it, it took literally 90 seconds. So to help you avoid that kind of pain, before you even download an ISO, let's run through a quick 60-second checklist to see where you really stand.
And hey, be honest with yourself here. If you answer no to some of these, that's okay. It doesn't mean you can't build a lab. It just means you have to prioritize a super minimal bloat-free setup. And you need to be absolutely religious about using that golden image strategy we just talked about.
All right, this all brings us to the final and honestly the most important point of this whole thing. This should be your new mantra. Seriously, let that sink in. This is the whole game right here. You have to focus on resilience, on being able to recover quickly, not on building some flawless, perfect machine that you're actually afraid to use because it might break. Your goal isn't a perfect lab. It's a recoverable lab.
So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. Can you, right now, from a completely blank slate, get a working lab environment up and running in under 30 minutes? Go ahead, actually time yourself. And if the answer is no, then your next project isn't learning some fancy new tool, it's fixing your process so you can.